What a weird-looking bunch that was.
Test drive the beauty of all-wheel drive at a Subaru dealer near you.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Streets are slick in Detroit and across the Midwest. A major winter storm is bringing snow, sleet, and freezing rain, and it's moving into the mid-Atlantic states. Good evening, I'm Sharon Resulton, joining you now from the Forecast Center here at the Weather Channel. Lots to talk about this evening with a snowy scenario as we extend across the Great Lakes region and a rather wet scenario all the way into the southeast. Believe it or not, with all the wintry precipitation, we also have some spring-like severe thunderstorms. And Christina Abernathy is going to take the story from there as we take it back to the studio. Christina?
All right, Sharon, we do indeed have the threat for severe weather here across parts of the southeast, specifically southeastern Georgia and on into northern and central Florida. Severe thunderstorms a possibility, including the potential for tornadoes. We do have a number of warnings to tell you about. They are severe thunderstorm warnings here in Georgia, Eccles, Clinch, Ware, Bacon, and southeast Coffee County. So right with this line right here, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. You'll eventually want to watch out in Waycross. Then as we move on southward into Columbia and Gilchrist counties, as we move into northern Florida, you are under severe thunderstorm warnings as well. And that line of storms extends well out into the Gulf. Eventually we'll watch out in Tampa, maybe Fort Myers as these storms push on through the peninsula. Orlando, that means you too. You can see the lightning data. Each little red mark here indicates a lightning strike, and we still have plenty of activity out there, so severe storms will continue to be a threat. That's it for the severe weather. Let's head back to Sharon for the wintry weather.
And we have live team coverage of this historic storm. Standing by in Chicago, Illinois is our own Jim Cantori, and in Albany, New York, where we have not seen any action just yet, but do expect to find some significant icing by this time on Sunday, we have our own Mike Seidel. We'll be checking back with both of them in just a moment, and they'll give us their perspective on how things are faring and how folks are preparing. First, let's go ahead and look at what has happened thus far, and we have had some significant snow across the Great Lakes region, especially impressive the areas in gray where 6 to 12 inches of snow have fallen, and the areas in white where we have found over a foot of snow. That includes areas like Milwaukee and Chicago, and even as you can see there in and around Fort Wayne, Indiana, and west central portions of Ohio, some significant snows. Some of the numbers look like this. Chicago at Midway, 17 inches, at O'Hare, 16 inches. Milwaukee reporting a foot of snow, but the snow still coming down there, and even into St. Louis. 7 inches of snowfall thus far. So travel, as you might expect, is hazardous and in many cases is not recommended, if allowed at all, as we head into portions of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest. We have reports of some road closures, and I believe our own Jim Cantore is going to pass along some of that information to you. Notice as we head further eastward, we're looking at a lot of pink on the map, an indication that we could find some significant icing. We have had some problems in and around Wisconsin. Officials had to close Interstate 94 in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, after a 50-car pileup. One person died, several others were hurt. Victims say they were trying to drive in whiteout conditions when the pileup happened. More than a foot of snow had fallen in that area. And that was one of the areas hardest hit, heading into portions of southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, specifically in and around Chicago. Joining us now live from Chicago is Jim Cantore. Jim, talk a little bit about what you've seen so far today.
Well, Sharon, it's been one of those days where, you just want to stay inside because it's just been so windy and so snowy here. And a lot of people did just that. And that's been great for Chicago because they've been able to clear and keep the streets a lot cleaner than I thought they would, especially when you've got several hours of an inch an hour type snowfall. Let me show you what it was like earlier on today. Now, for tonight, the snow is tapered off. And after 16 inches of snow, you can see what it was like in downtown Chicago. Lakeshore Drive closed as a result of the blowing snow. Now again, folks, that is right on the lake, and we had an east wind component today, at least at 20 miles an hour. And when that snow came whipping across that Lakeshore Drive, I mean, it just made it impossible to keep up with all that drifting. So they basically just shut down the drive, something typical when you have this kind of a snowstorm and this kind of a snowfall rate. But no doubt, just a snowy scene in Chicago, no matter how you slice it. And now the cleanup begins, like here at the Westin, where we're starting to see everybody kind of get out and clear the path to try and see what the ground looked like before last night. Of course, that's when we didn't have much snow on the ground at all, just an inch from some earlier lake effect. But Sharon, the airports are still a mess. A lot of the flights have been canceled all day today and on into tonight. And American had made a statement that they're hoping to get 50% of the scheduled aircraft off the ground tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. So if you've got some flights in and around Chicago, you need to probably call your air carrier, and that's how things are looking. They'll make an announcement tomorrow for the school kids to see if they are going back to school on Monday or if they've got a little extra time on their holiday. We'll let you know. Right now, let's go back to Sharon in the studio.
There'll be some kids anxiously awaiting that news. Thanks a lot, Jim. Let's take it now to Albany, New York. Mike Seidel. And while things are winding down a bit in Chicago, folks are just waiting for it to start in Albany. Mike?
Yeah, we've been watching this storm for several days now, and we said earlier in the week, look out Chicago, look out St. Louis, and then we also said look out in the Northeast. However, our concern here was always the fact that warm air would surge up the eastern seaboard and that whatever snow fell would be short-lived. That is still the case tonight. We will see snow later on tonight, and certainly by sunrise some snow around, but it will quickly change over to sleet and then freezing rain, and a majority of Sunday we think we'll have either sleet or freezing rain, hopefully more sleet than ice, because with ice we have a whole litany of problems, including obviously very poor driving conditions.
Bowflex guarantees results in 6 weeks or your money back. Try going to the gym and getting a guarantee on results.